Alright, this is additional example set number 3. Number 1. Determine if either x equal to 3 or x equal to 4 is a solution of the equation 12 minus 7x equals negative x squared. So let's write down the equation. 12 minus 7x equals negative x squared. So now I want to test x equal to 3. How do I do that? Well, I look at what happens when I plug it into the left-hand side as well as the right-hand side, and if they're equal to each other, that means it satisfies the equation. So the left-hand side is 12 minus 7 times 3, which is 12 minus 21, which is negative 9. The right-hand side equals negative 3 squared, which is negative 9. So yes, it is a solution. The next one I want to test is x equal to 4. Left-hand side equals 12 minus 7 times 4, which is 12 minus 28, which is negative 16. The right-hand side equals negative 4 squared, which is negative 16. And I have a solution for both. In question number 2, solve the equation given here. So let's write down that equation and solve it. 5p minus 7 to 3p minus 4 equals 3b. Okay, so I want to multiply 5 into the brackets, and I want to multiply 2 into the bracket, negative 6p plus 8, and I have a 3p here. So I can get all the p's to one side, let's say to the right, by subtracting 5p and adding 6p, subtracting 5p and adding 6p, and I'll get negative 35 plus 8 is negative 27 equals 3 minus 5 is negative 2 plus 6 is 4p. So p is equal to negative 27 over 4. You can leave it like that, you can do a decimal number, it really doesn't matter. In number 3, solve this equation. So let's write that equation down. Actually, we can do it over here. X plus 2 over 3 minus 2 minus x over 6 equals x minus 2. So I'm going to multiply throughout by 6 to get rid of the fractions. And then 6 over 3 is 2, minus 2 minus x equals 6x minus 2. Now I'm multiplying into the brackets, 2x plus 4, negative 2, two negatives make a positive x, 6x minus 12. Get all the x's, let's say, on one side by subtracting 2x and subtracting an x, and adding 12 on this side as well as on this side, minus 2x minus x. As long as I do it throughout on both sides, I get 4 plus 12 is 16 minus 12 is 14 equal to 6 minus 2 is 4 minus 1 is 3x. So x is equal to 14 over 3. In number 4, solve for r in the equation s equals p times 1 plus rt. So I just want to rearrange these things so that it says r equals something. So let's write down number 4. S equals P times 1 plus RT. Now I will write it in reverse because I want R eventually on the left. Let's divide both sides by P to get 1 plus RT equal to S over P. Now I have to subtract 1 on either side to get RT equals S over P minus 1. And then I'm going to divide by T. Now it really doesn't matter how you leave it, so it's not an exercise in simplifying. You can leave it like that. That's perfectly fine. In number 5, a daycare center total monthly revenue from the care of X toddlers is given by this equation. And its total monthly costs are given by this equation. How many toddlers need to be enrolled each month to break even? In other words, the total revenue should equal the total cost. So all I need to do is set up my equation where revenue equals cost and solve for X. So I subtract 380X on both sides. Well, 450 minus 380 is going to be 70X equals 3,500. So X is equal to 3,500 over 70. In this case, I want to calculate that. That will be 50. So the question asks me for the number of toddlers. So I'll write a little concluding sentence. So let's just say they need 50 toddlers to break even. Number 6, for 32 hours of work, you are paid $241.60. How much would you receive for 37 hours? So assuming that your pay per hour, your hourly wage, stays the same, we can set up an easy little ratio equation for this. So let's call the variable X. Let X represent the desired amount that they're looking for. Then I get paid for 37 hours. Then what is my equation? Well, my wage is $241.60 per 32 hours. That has to be the same as X dollars for 37 hours. I have my ratio equation. I'll cross multiply to get 32x equals 37 times 241.60. Let's find that. 37 times 241.6. That is 32x equals 8939.2. So x is equal to 8939.2 over 32. X is equal to 279.35 cents. Now I don't want to leave it like that. X was used as a temporary variable to help my calculation. I want to write a concluding sentence saying you would receive 279.35 cents. In number 7, 2 part-time employees share one full-time job. Charis works Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and Chloe works Tuesdays and Thursdays. The job pays an annual salary of $28,592. What annual salary does each employee earn? So, number 7. So if I look at a 5-day work week, I could easily say that Charis works 3 out of the 5 days, so 3/5 of the week, for a total salary of, well, 3/5 of 28,592, which equals 3/5 times 28592, 17155.2. In other words, $17,155.20. Chloe works 2/5 of the week, for a total of 2/5 times 28,592, which is 2/5, let's do it over here, times 28592, 11436.8. So for a total of $11,436.80. Suppose a washing machine costs €729.55, or equivalently $947.50. In A, determine the exchange rate in terms of number of euros to a dollar. So the washing machine is given, the price is given in 2 currencies. In number 8, so it says here 729.55 equals 947.50 in dollars. So the exchange rate is simply, well, before we write the concluding sentence, let's be nice and complete. So let's set up my ratio equation to determine this. Let x represent the number of euros for $1. Then €729.55 correspond to $947.5. That equals x euros for $1. Cross multiply to get 947.50x equals 729.55 times 1. So x is equal to 729.55 over 947.50. X is equal to 729.55 divided by 947.50. 0.7, I'll round to the nearest four decimals, 77. So the exchange rate is 0.77 euros to $1. Now this was A. In B, what are they saying? If the dryer that goes with the washing machine costs this many euros, what is the cost in dollar? Now, just in case my A answer is wrong in a test situation or something like that, you're not sure, I can use this original pieces of information to calculate that. So it's not dependent on my answer in A. So let's say Y. represents the cost in dollar. Then, well, 947.50 cents in dollars corresponded to 729.55 cents in euros. Now Y dollars corresponds to 810.2 euros. Cross multiply to get 729.55Y equals 947.50 times 810.2. Let's multiply that. 947.5 times 810.2. So 729.55Y equals 76766.45. So Y equals 76766.45 over 729.55. Y equals 9.55. 1052.24. So the cost is $1,000.52.24. For the next one, number 9, solve the quadratic equation given there. So let's write down that equation. X squared plus 3x minus 10 equals 0. Now my first thing is that I'll try and factor this. I'm looking for factor pairs of 10 for which the difference is a 3. So it seems like 5 and 2 would do the job. Signs are different. That's the bigger one. And I can easily FOIL it out. 5x minus 2x will give me the 3x again. So I can have x plus 5 equals 0, or x minus 2 equals 0, x equals negative 5, or x equals 2. Let's verify that the quadratic formula would work as well. So you could say here, or I could just go quadratic formula and say it's negative b plus or minus square root of b squared, a, b, c. So a is equal to 1, b is equal to 3, c is equal to negative 10. So b squared minus 4 times a times c, all over 2 times a. So first I like to do the part inside the square root. So now I have 9 plus 40, so I have 49. So I have x equal to negative 3 plus or minus 7 over 2. So that splits into 2. X equal to negative 3 plus 7 over 2, or x equal to negative 3 minus 7 over 2. This one will be negative 3 plus 7 is 4 over 2. So x is equal to 2. This one would be negative 3 minus 7 is negative 10 over 2, which would be x equal to negative 5, and it's the same as this one. In number 10, solve this quadratic equation. So let's write down number 10. X squared minus 2x minus 15 equals 0. So here I'm going to try and factor it. I'm looking for factor pairs of 15. The difference should be a 2. The difference should be a 2. Seems like 5 and 3 would work. 5 and 3. Different signs, bigger one gets a negative. Negative 5 plus 3x would be negative 2x. So I get x minus 5 equals 0, or x plus 3 equals 0. X equals 5, or x equals negative 3. Or I can use the quadratic formula if I can't see how to factor it, or I'm not sure. You can always fall back on that. So now a is equal to 1, b is equal to negative 2, c is equal to negative 15. So I get x equal to negative 2, negative b, plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac. Close the square root over 2 times a. I like to do the number inside the square root first. And if you're not sure what that is, I get 4 plus 4 times 15, which is 64. So I have 2 plus or minus square root of 64 over 2. Well, square root of 64 is 8. Now it splits into 2. X equal to plus 8 over 2, or x equal to minus 8 over 2. This one is 10 over 2, so x is equal to 5. This one is negative 6 over 2, so x is equal to negative 3, same as before. For number 11, a corn refining company produces corn gluten cattle feed at a variable cost of $82 per ton. If fixed costs are $120,000 per month and the feed sells for $134 per ton, how many tons must be sold each month for the company to have a monthly profit of $560,000? So they're asking me how many tons. So that tells me how I should define my variable. Let Q represent the number of tons to produce in a month, or to sell in a month rather. So now I'm using the fact that profit equals revenue minus total cost. So my profit is 560,000. My revenue is 134 Q. My total cost is the fixed cost of 120,000 plus my variable cost of $82 per ton, and I make and sell Q tons, and there's my equation. Now let's simplify the right hand side to get 134 Q minus 120,000 minus 82 Q. So add 120,000 on both sides and I get 680,000. 134 minus 82 is 52Q. So Q is equal to 680,000 over 52. Let's do that and see. 680,000 divided by 52. Q is equal to 13076.92, more or less. So they have to sell, I would say, 13,076. Well, in this case, I would probably round it up, because if they sell 13,076 only, then they're not going to make that profit. They would probably have to go up to the next one, which is 77 tons. Or if they want to have it exactly, you could say or 13,076.92 tons exactly. Up to you. Usually Q represents an integer quantity, number of units, which you would have to then round to the next one up, because you have to get your target. Otherwise, you can give it exactly as well. In number 12, as retailer, you acquire a certain product at $40 per unit. Set up an appropriate equation to determine the price per unit so that when you reduce this price by 10% during a sale, you still make a profit of $15 on the cost. Okay, so what am I looking for here? I'm trying to determine the price per unit. So let's start with that and say in number 12, let P represent the price per unit. Well, I'm only looking at one unit, so I'm looking at profit being my sale price, my price, minus my cost. So I just want to fill in each one of these. So let's do the price first. Price is P, cost. They say, well, no, I have to be careful, don't I? Because the information that they give me, or what that they want in terms of the target profit, is during a 10% sale. So let's just take a step back, erase this with my terrible eraser, and say, during the sale, what is my price, what is my cost, and what is my profit? Price is reduced by 10%, so it's 0.9 of the original price, reduction of 10%. I want, my cost is still 40, and I want a profit of 15% on the cost. So 0.15 times 40, which equals 0.15 times 46. Now I can go to my equation and say, well, 6 has to equal 0.9p minus 40. So 0.9p equals 46, so p equals 46 over 0.9. 46 divided by 0.9, 51.11. So let's say here, so the price should be $51.11. $51.11. In number 13, you plan to invest $100,000 in either a specific bond or stock, or a mix. At the end of the first year, the bond and stock yielded returns of 5% and 2% respectively on the original investments. How was the original amount allocated if the total amount earned was $4,000? So, in order for me to answer how the amount was allocated, I'm going to have to say, let's say X and Y. Let X represent the amount invested in the bond, and let Y represent the amount invested in the stock. Then, what do I know? Do I really need two variables? It's fine if you do, but you could also say, well, instead of this, I could replace this with 100,000 minus x, thereby eliminating the one variable, making my life way easier. Way easier. So, what do I have now? The return should total 4,000, but it is 5% of the amount invested in the bonds plus 2% of the amount invested in the stock, which is now y, but 100,000 minus x. I just want one variable ideally, and that should total 4,000. So there's my equation. Now let's simplify this. Oops, not an equal. Plus 0.02 times 100,000. If you're not sure, I'll show you that it's not embarrassing if you want to use a calculator. 100,000 times 0.02. There's no harm in using a calculator to be sure, especially in a test situation. I get 2,000 minus 0.02x equals 4,000. Now everything with an x on the left, subtract 2,000 on both sides to get 0.03x equal to 2,000. So x is equal to 2,000 over 0.03. X is equal to 0.03. It's going to not be the prettiest number. 66,666.67. We'll have to round it. And then 100,000 minus x would be 33,333.33. So let's summarize here. So the bond investment was 66,666.67 cents. No, not 76. At this stage, you've done 13 questions. Easy to make a little typo. And the stock investment was 33,333 and 33 cents. Done.